Hello, Joshua from CourseVector here with a hot tips video for you. Today I'm going to be covering website content. Whether you have a website currently or whether you are brand new to having a website, we're just going to go over a little bit of how to write content for your website. So let's jump right in. The very first thing that you need to do is determine who your customer base is. And that'll determine a lot of factors with how you're going to go about writing your content. If you have a medical product or service, for example, you might be really diving into the details of the types of content that you're going to be writing, versus if you sell t-shirts or something like that, you might want to keep it a little bit lighter and a little bit more straightforward to the point. So the very first step right there is, like I said, identifying who your customers are. This will also determine what type of writing style you're going to have. And what type of educational level you should be writing your content at. For example, like I mentioned, if you have a medical service or product, for example, you might be writing at a college level type writing, versus, like I said, selling t-shirts. That is where you're going to be writing more at like a 5th grade level. Typically, most websites across the web should be written in a very easy to understand manner. So take how you would normally write and maybe, I'm not going to say dumb it down, but make it a little bit easier to understand. Be very quick, straightforward, to the point. Which brings me to the next point that I have here for you. And that is, how much content should you be writing for your site? Typically, people write way more than they should. I know personally, the CourseVector website right now in its current state is a little bit text heavy. We're actually going to be rebranding hopefully this summer and cutting way back on that. I read a book recently by Steve Krug called Don't Make Me Think, a common sense approach to web usability. One of the key points that I got from this book was actually about content writing for your website, and that is to take the content that you have written down, half it, and then half it again. So if you have 100 words of content, for example, you should half it down to 50 and then half it again down to 25 words. Really try to get straight to the point. Think about yourself when you're reading a website. Are you reading every single line of text? No, you're not. You're probably scanning through it, trying to find what you are looking for as quick as possible. Which that brings me to another point, and that is, make sure that you utilize headings into your content. And I'll show here an example here shortly on that. Actually, let me pop that up on my screen right now here for you to take a look at. So this website that I'm going to be using as example today is Cave Creek Equine. Fantastic equine veterinarian out of Phoenix, Arizona. They do absolutely incredible work. And I think they're the only MRI, the only horse MRI in the state of Arizona. So really cool stuff that they're doing over there. Check them out if you are a horse owner in Arizona. So going through here, you'll notice how the headings make it very easy to scan through for text. So you can see here's their services that they offer. They have evaluations, and then you can break this down. So they have lameness evaluation, pre-purchase, respiratory. So that way I can quickly find what I'm looking for as a reader, and then go through and then read that additional information that I want to look for. So you can see how all this is set up. As far as what pages to write content for, the pages that you should be writing content for are, again, this is just on a base level, are your homepage for sure, your About Us page, and then your services or products. Your homepage should contain the most lucrative part of your business. That is what 90% of the people land on your website via your homepage. And so you should have your most lucrative part of the business being front and center. So for example, if you're a auto mechanic, and you make a lot of money and the most lucrative part of your business is selling tires, that might be the very first thing that you want front and center right at the top of your homepage is, tire sale or something like that, something to get people to just start clicking through. And then after that, your about page, just, keep it simple, keep it relatable to your customers. If you are a family-owned business, you might want to talk about your family. If you are a professional, or you're a doctor and you're selling medical supplies, you might want to write about your degrees that you have. It really comes down to, like I said, identifying your customer base and figuring out what is going to validate you on that about page. People do look to see who they're going to be working with, so make sure you try to relate to them in some way, shape, or form. And then that brings me to the services or products. That's the meat and potatoes of your website, most likely. And what I recommend doing there is making sure that each one of your products or services has their own unique page. Write about, 200, maybe 300 to 600 words or so about that product or service on each of the pages, and then group them by, basically categorizing them underneath one another. So, for example, this is a very good website to use it as an example. They have their services listed here, and you can see here how they have their evaluations, which if I click on that, you can see here how that breaks it down into the 3 that are underneath that. So kind of subcategories almost. And if I click on lameness, you can see here how, yes, this is a 1 to 2 sentence write-up. It's a brief overview. And then if I click into it, you can see the whole entire list of what type of services it is. This is. And you can see here, like I said previously, make sure you use those headings. People scan through text quickly. They want to try to find what they're looking for quickly. People don't waste time on the internet, unless you're, of course, scanning YouTube for hours on end. But if you're reading for something or looking for a particular service, you're not spending time reading through every single word. You're trying to find exactly what you're looking for quickly and then going from there. So that's, in a sense, how to write content for your website. Again, a few takeaways from this is to think about who your customer base is, half your content, then half it again when you're writing it out, and then keep it relatable to your customers, and make it easy to scan. Make sure that you include those headings in your content when you're writing it out. And if you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me at CourseVector.com. I'd be more than happy to, review some content with you and see if there's anything I can do to help out. And look for part 2 coming soon on how to prepare images for your website.